Well, everybody, just get relaxed. We usually take 5 or 10 minutes to get everybody settled. There are cookies in the back, so, a little sugar helps everything go a little better. But keep visiting for just a few more minutes. But those cookies have got to be gone by the time the meeting's done.
There's also cherries right here if you want to pass them to another table.
Yeah, boys, now he's taking my cherries away.
Whoa!
Boy, aren't you something, Bob?
Was it another one? Was the elevator on?
I know that Cheryl had a cherry cookie.
Goes away. You took our.
Then I have to give you an orange.
Oh, good. Good. I like orange. Oh, thank you very much. Put that right there and take it home. I'll have it for breakfast. Thank you very much.
Fold cards that you may or may not be able to see them. We have an agenda if you need to keep track of them. Tonight's meeting was organized by our safety committee, and it's going to be run by one of the co-chairs of the safety committee, Bob Barnwell, and he is going to set out the rules. Take it away, Bob.
How's everybody doing? One thing before we start, I just want to emphasize a lot of work has been put into this, and one of the co-chair of the safety committee is Richard Johnson, who spent a lot of time in working and designing this. He's not here, he's on vacation, but a lot of effort by Richard Johnson is part of this meeting. The theme: what is your department or organization's role in the public safety of Hayes Valley Western Addition? That is the theme. Each speaker will have 3 to 4 minutes to speak. And questions will be allowed at the end of the meeting for 30 minutes or longer. I put some note cards out here for people to look at. Put down your questions if you can't remember. We're not going to pick them up or anything, but also put down the phone numbers or maybe the email addresses of some people that are going to be speaking right here. So it's important to have those questions. The questions are only allowed at the end. We're going to have a lot of presenters. We have 17 presenters tonight. So we appreciate your input at the end of the meeting for 30 or 40 minutes of questions. Anyway, the first one we're going to have is the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. Camille will be up here to talk a little bit about what is how you can access the city services and how you can address the voice of the city.
Hi everybody. Hi. Thank you for having me tonight. My name is Camille Dawkins. I work at the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services, and I also am a parent, and I have also a full-time job, and I'm off at 5, so I have my baby with me tonight. I have my 2 children with me. So our office, the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services, is I would call the people's office, where we take constituent complaints, anything under the sun you can call our office for. If you have a tree that's blocking your view, if you have concrete issues, if you have anything indirect, I know that he said he wanted us to talk specifically about what our particular office was doing for Hayes Valley itself, but our office is for citywide. It's not particular for one particular neighborhood. It's for all the city of San Francisco. What I did is, prior to coming tonight, I actually reached out to the Mayor's Office of Criminal Justice to see if they can give me some statistical information along with departmental information that was going on for this particular neighborhood. I made copies along with some other stuff, and I brought a couple of documents that I can leave. I ran out Xerox copies along with the policy director of that department, his contact information, email and other things like that in case folks had additional questions when it came to public safety, because my office, the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services, does not do any direct services when it came to public safety. We have the Mayor's Office of Criminal Justice for that. Our office does a lot of community engagement. As a liaison, we're in the community. We attend a lot of community meetings, and we report back to our department head, which goes directly to the mayor. I'm trying to think of anything else I'm leaving out. Overall, for me, we're the people's office. If you ever have anything that you have that wants to go directly to the mayor himself, you can also contact our office with constituent matters that you feel that the mayor needs to hear as far as concerns or anything like that. Our office is good for that as well. My name is Camille Dawkins. Again, I can leave my email address and my phone number if you have any questions. I'm the district liaison for this district, and you can contact me directly as an advocate. If you have any other issues with different departments, I can navigate things like that as well. So my number is 554-6475, and we're in the mayor's office in Good Services, and thank you for having me.
That's what these cards are for. Write down those phone numbers and everything, you know, so you can call these people and everything.
Or use your agenda.
Yeah. Anyway, we're lucky right now that we have another representing adult probation. And the person that's going to be talking about how can we curtail the cycle of in and out of probation and in and out of our neighborhood. Brad Davis.
I'm not too sure I can answer all those questions tonight. My name's Brad Davis. I work with the Intensive Supervision Unit of the Adult Probation Department. I deal specifically with high-risk offenders that are part of this area. They either live here or they do their crimes in this area. We work closely with the police department, juvenile probation, sheriff's department, the other criminal justice agencies, as well as programs to try to curtail the cycle. We deal with both mentally ill offenders as well as gang members, as well as drug offenders. There's a whole gamut that our department supervises. I can't really think of any specifics, but I'll leave my business cards with you if you have any questions. If you have any issues with people that you know that are on probation, you can certainly contact me. If you know the officers that are in the district, they will also contact me and let me know if there's problems as well. I know merchants have problems with quality of life issues, people that are standing on the corners in your neighborhood, people that are committing crimes in your neighborhood, and I'm certainly open if you have any questions to contact me in my office. I also have email you can contact me at, and if you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call.
Make sure you pick up those business cards that everybody's going to be leaving. Now, how about a community group that's involved directly with what we're just talking about, adult probation? We're talking about Brothers for Change, and they're going to talk about mentoring youth and also about how to change from probation to community service.
My name is Pastor Harris. I'm the Executive Director of Brothers for Change. Before you call the police or the probation officer, you can call us.
That's right.
We work on the front end, so don't call them, call us. We'll come up there and talk to the brothers on the street and let them know they got to move on. One of the things we also do is we make sure that the police go according to the DOJ. Make sure that they're doing their job on the streets also. We're working with the youth to try to change their lives, but we make sure that the police don't beat up on the youngsters with the billy clubs at the same time. That's what we're doing in the neighborhood. We got a fathers group, making sure that the fathers are also getting back in the lives of their children so everybody can be safe on their own. It's better for a father to get out there and talk to his children other than the police and me. So I'm heavy on fatherhood and making sure that the fathers get out there and talk to their children. Get them off the streets themselves. We're trying to work on a gang injunction. I'm not sure, it's not in this area, but it's a gang injunction in the neighborhood down on the Eddy Street corridor. It's called a gang injunction, where the young men were sued as a gang. So we're working on an opt-out plan for those members. It's just like getting off probation. We're trying to come up with a plan for them to get off this list. So like I said before, I know we only got 3 minutes. Call us before you call the police and the probation department.
And you have some of your literature right up there on the table and everything?
We have business cards if anybody wanted to
and about the events that you have coming up and everything like that. Well, we're also very lucky tonight. We have the chief of the juvenile probation. And he will be talking to us about, how can juvenile probation work with the community to assure that the children on probation can get to school and get to the services that they need.
Thank you, Bob. Good evening, everybody. Bill Sipperman, Chief Probation Officer of the Juvenile Probation Department. I have a few comments to share that seek to inform all of you about what our dual mission is with the Juvenile Probation Department. We have double responsibilities to address public safety in the short term and also to address public safety in the long term. We have responsibilities to interdict in the lives of juveniles that are beyond the control and are the greatest threat to public safety in the short term, and holding these youth accountable. But we also know that youth are not going to be served best by keeping them locked up for days and weeks and months as a final solution. So we have responsibilities to plant the seeds that will address long-term public safety by providing interventions and planting the seeds that will eventually grow these youngsters into responsible adults that will address public safety in the long term. So how you as a community can help us in that regard, we certainly need your vigilance and your reporting instances of juvenile-related crime. And quite frankly, not all of the kids that you see that are involved in incidents on the street and are a threat to public safety are necessarily on probation at the time. So we want to make certain that these incidents that are threaten your lives and your livelihood and your property and person in this area is reported immediately to the police, and then allow us the opportunity to do our double job, and that is holding them accountable in the short term and then utilizing the resources within the community. I'm glad to hear about the Brothers for Change. We work with a number of community-based organizations because we believe that's where the long-lasting, durable change will occur through the vigilant attendance by the community. You know, as I was growing up as a youngster, before I got home, my parents already knew from a variety of sources what I did in the neighborhood before I got home. So they had an agenda, so to speak, before I got in the house. And I think that that's something where the community got together and provided that. I know that I'm short on time, but the representative of Brothers for Change said he's big on fatherhood. I am big on fatherhood. I'm big, and I'm the father of 8 children. And so I'm pretty big on fatherhood. So I make that connection with the role that we play in changing lives of kids. My contact information is available, and we're very, very happy to seek any opportunity to engage the community in discussion about our double role. Thank you very much.
Working with youth, and we have a community organization here that works with youth all the time, and that's called the Beacon Center. And we're talking about how they can address after-school and summer programs, and also how they can make a safe place for members of the community. The person that is a different person that was represented. Anyway, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Mark Diaz. I'm actually the SAC coordinator for John Muir Elementary with the Western Division Beacon. My director, Takashi Gardner, was not able to make it here today. Starting next August, my new role is going to be the Family and Community Outreach Coordinator, so you'll probably be seeing a lot more of you. With the Western Addition Beacon, we do offer a summer program. It's going to begin July 22nd through June 22nd to July 31st. And we're going to provide care from 9 to 6. So we're going to do a lot of activities, whatever the kids are. We do have like 120 slots available for the children. And also for the parents who need to bring their children early, we do have an AM care that starts at 7 o'clock in the morning. And so with the Western Addition, what we do is just that we provide a lot of services. We're not just an after-school program. We are also a center for families, and we're here to care for everybody. And we've been talking a lot about safety, but one thing that we really do a lot at our program is that we give kids a voice. And they're also, because I believe safety also comes with emotional safety. And right now, I'm not a father, but I do father 90 kids, because they're allowed to come to me, and they also talk to me about their issues. We were talking about growing up. When I was growing up, I did my best to talk about my issues, and I was just put to the side. We really do our best to listen to these kids and see what their actual problem is. And once you really hear what these children are going through, then that's when we can start working on that. So the Western Addition is here for the children. You will be seeing me a lot more of me next year, and yeah, and I'm really happy I'm here. Excuse my hair.
Well, we talk about public safety, and what is probably the #1 department in the city involved in public safety? Talking about the fire department. And we had a battalion chief who just got promoted, so we got somebody even bigger. I forget his name. The fire department is going to talk about fire hazards and how about the lumber and things that grow up in somebody's yard so people can walk over and get into your yard.
Just in case I have to leave, there's a working fire right now in Grant Bush, so if I run out of here, that's why. It's kind of obvious, but early identification, if you see problems that are starting to develop or build, to call the fire department early before it becomes a disaster is the first thing. If it's something, sorry.
Your name, please?
Victor Wirtz, Battalion Chief Victor.
Speak up a little bit.
So if it's something that's imperative or imminent danger, obviously call 911. But if it's something that's building up, if you call the fire department directly, which that number is 558-3200, and that's fire prevention, and we'll get somebody over there quickly and right away. I can really stress the NERT program is wonderful, as you're probably all a part of, but if your neighbors are not, the awareness of all the necessary things of your building, such as your gas and water shutoffs. Another thing that's important, a lot of occupants of businesses and residents don't know is if, for elevators, if your elevator motor is on the roof or if it's in the basement of your building, because if you have trapped occupants at a fire, seconds count. And the quicker we can get trapped occupants out of an elevator during a fire, the quicker. So the person you want to tell is the guy with the white helmet out in front. If there's not a chief out in front, which hopefully you are already out in front during a disaster or a fire, is an officer, just so you know, will have a white shield on his helmet, and tell him, and the news will get to the right person at the right time. And again, like I said, seconds count. And if you have any questions, come by any firehouse and talk to them about any of your concerns, and we'll be glad to help.
We mentioned about that lumber buildup. We have an individual in our neighborhood who had, next door had the lumber build up so that they could have somebody cross over into the yard and spend 4 hours daytime robbery, stealing everything in the house. So, at least it's important. And he mentioned NERT. And we're real lucky here in Hayes Valley that we have a very strong NERT program. And so I'd like to invite the head of the NERT program for the city of San Francisco, Erica, to talk a little bit about NERT.
Thank you for having me tonight. My name is Erica Articeros. I'm from Fillmore. This is the neighborhood I was born and raised in. I love it here. And on my street, we knew everyone growing up. And I moved out to the Portola district, and it seems very neighborly, but neighbors won't even let me park in front of their house. So, we're different times, but there's really two missions. One is to train people in life-saving skills and disaster preparation and response. But the other is to support, once you've been through that training, the building of community. And nothing was more obvious why that was necessary than Hurricane Katrina. That was in our own country. That is a shame. And we are working very hard to make sure that that doesn't happen here. We work on the stone soup concept. If you remember that story when you were a kid, somebody had a pot and then somebody put a stone in, and next thing you know they had soup because somebody brought their little stalk of celery. Somebody else brought 1 carrot. So get to know your neighbors in case you're the one that didn't quite get around to getting your water before the disaster hits, because you're going to need them. And they're going to need you because they don't have a flashlight. Or they're going to need you because, where's Camille? She didn't get home from work in time and somebody's got to pick her baby up from daycare. So it all ties together in a safer community. And the fire department for 20 years and budget willing will continue to offer this training free of charge to all San Francisco residents or anyone that works here in the city. You're also lucky, and it's a good time to introduce Jamie, because in your neighborhood you have a volunteer who is working hard to organize the people who have been trained and to look out for your well-being and let the fire department know exactly what your needs are after an earthquake or something happens. So Jamie, will you please come up and join me?
Hi, Erica always does such a great job in explaining the benefits of the program. I'm going to reiterate the experience with Katrina, because I think a lot of times we talk to people and we say, have 72 hours of supplies ready for you to go. Remember that people are going to be overwhelmed and not be able to respond to you, but still, I think it never really sinks in until we saw that happening. And that was more than 3 days. So it's something really to keep on your mind as you go shopping, on your mind as you're working with your family, your schools, all the other community resources that you work with. I just want to add to that we have a lot of information over there for people to come pick up, they can take with them. This is the brochure on the NERD program, goes over the training. This is the latest schedule for the training that's coming, the free trainings that are coming up. And then also, as Erica said, it's really important to have these kits. It's really important to try and focus on these. And then also on the back, a communication plan. One of the things that families, a lot of times, especially people with kids, don't really think about is where are you going to be when this happens? You don't know. You could be on your way home and be able to pick up your children. You could also not be on your way home and not even close to being able to pick up your children. Having some kind of communication plan ahead of time, having something set up with your family and your friends, we know where we're going to meet. It's incredibly important, even if you're not able to go ahead and get that kid here. And so all this information is over here on the table when you guys are either on your way out. There's also a sign-up list if you want to hear more about the Hayes Valley Neighborhood Nerd and when you meet and things like that.
All right, thanks, Jamie. So just to wrap up, the fire department provides a safety net. In a lot of ways, we're people's first doorway into medical care, you know, and especially as economic times get harder and harder. But when an incident occurs in San Francisco that's bigger than our day-to-day ability to handle, then we are each other's safety net. So that's my encouragement for everyone to get involved and do a little bit. Thank you.
And I just want to make a little public service announcement. The church has a little rock band, and they practice on Thursday nights and irregularly. And some nights we overlap, and some nights it's just the bass. But tonight I think we have the full force of it. There's no turning it down, so just go with it.
You know, we do have several different groups, there are people, departments that are arriving a little bit later. They already expressed that. And so anyway, we have a nice representative from the city attorney's office. And what we're going to be talking about is address the issues of nuisance and code enforcement when you have a situation in your area that you can utilize. So Curtis from the city attorney's office.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Curtis Sorello. It's a pleasure to be here with you. I am a deputy city attorney. I work for Dennis Herrera, who is the city attorney. The city attorney handles civil matters on behalf of the city and county of San Francisco. So when the city is sued or when the city needs to sue somebody, our office does that. We don't do criminal prosecution, we do civil matters. Dennis Herrera has set up a team of lawyers that all we do is we sue relating to public nuisance. Public nuisance is any nuisance that affects a community as a whole in a detrimental way. We have sued everyone from multinational corporations, I sued ARCO, yay, to street gangs, to everything in between. And what we do with civil lawsuits is we go for two things. An injunction that requires the party that we're suing to do or not to do. When we sue ARCO, we tell them you can't pollute in your community, you got to fix your underground oil tanks. If we sue a slumlord, we tell them you must fix your building. If we sue a street gang, you say you can or you cannot do this that creates a nuisance. That's how an injunction works. The other side of our lawsuits that often gets more attention when you're dealing with, say, a slumlord or a corporation is we get civil penalties against them. I figure that I do mostly behavior modification. Usually when you have somebody that has property that's substandard and creating a nuisance to the entire community, if you tell them to stop doing that, they go, yeah, because they're still getting their rent. But if you sue them and you hit them with penalties, then all of a sudden they pay attention. The way we get penalties are through our local codes. Most local codes, the fire code, the housing code, the building code, when something is substandard, usually you can get daily penalties against a property. So if you see so far, most of our lawsuits focus on property nuisance or behavior nuisance. Buildings that house a business that is running illegally, a restaurant that doesn't have a permit, a landlord that's basically absentee and allowing his property to be a crack house. We can sue these property owners and mete out penalties against them. We're not necessarily suing the tenants that are creating a problem, and that's something that when you have a house next to you that's being rented out and there's some people living there that you don't really like, it's really the landlord that we can deal with. We tell them you need to control your property, you need to evict these tenants, etc. Our clients are various city departments. We do task force inspections to inspect properties or businesses. We go with the police, the fire department, the Department of Public Health, the housing inspectors. If there's dog problems, we take animal care and control. Those are the most fearless people I've ever dealt with, believe me. They'll go in and just handle a pit bull like nothing. Once we've established that there's a nuisance, we try to get the property owner to fix the problem without the intervention of a lawsuit. If they don't pay attention to us, then we sue them.
1 minute.
1 minute, thank you, okay. With 1 minute left, what I'll tell you is the most important thing you need to know is how to reach us. And we have a hotline that is staffed by 2 people. It's not 24 hours, but if you call them during the day, you'll get a human. If you leave a message, they'll call you back. It's 554-3977. They will take the information, they'll call the appropriate city department, alert me or whatever city attorney has that district, and we'll deal with it, and someone will get back to you within a few days. Again, my name's Curtis Sorello. The hotline number is 554-3977. Thank you for your time.
Well, we have somebody here that we didn't expect, but they were invited, the Housing Authority. And Jim Terry is going to be representing. Unfortunately, the gentleman that we've had good contact with has had a bicycle accident. Of course, that's not good for me, Bicycle Bob. But anyway, so Jim Terry is going to talk to the Housing Authority, especially about evictions and how we can handle that in our neighborhood.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Jim Ferry. I'm the security coordinator for the San Francisco Housing Authority. And I think the best way to address what we can do for the neighborhood is just give you an overview of how our authority works. My office comes under the Office of General Counsel. We have 4 attorneys in there and a bunch of litigation staff. I just started December 1st. When I started, we had 1 attorney and myself, and that was it. So you can see that